Hello, everybody, and welcome back to You've Been Josh with Josh. I am your host, Josh. Happy December, everybody. Hope everybody's doing well. I hope the beginning of your December has gone ever so smoothly and splendidly. Some new things that's been going on. I kind of want to make the beginning of the podcast like announcement section where I talk about some things. I have noticed that it's slowly becoming just my journal. It's slowly becoming my journal. But you know what? It works for me. I like it, and as long as you guys are enjoying it, that's the most important part. You know. Um, I got all my new emotes. There are some other ones that are coming out, but the Crimson, huge shout out to him. Everyone seems to like them. I love them. They look fucking fantastic. I got to show them off on my stream yesterday. Yesterday was my 1 year of being an affiliate on Twitch, so I got to show them off that day and really like share them, which was cool. I didn't even know. I knew it was coming up, but I didn't know that my 1 year of being an affiliate was coming up. Like I didn't realize it was going to be yesterday. To anyone who doesn't know what an affiliate is on Twitch, when you start streaming, you aren't like associated with Twitch. You're just kind of like on the platform streaming, which is free. And then once you reach certain benchmarks of average viewership, time streamed, days that you've streamed on, blah, 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 you get invited to apply to be an affiliate, which is basically you're an employee of Twitch. And then you can start making money, and that's how that goes. So I celebrated my 1 year of streaming back in October, but I made affiliate and started being able to get subs and bits and get paid by Twitch in December. And I remember that night so long ago. I remember that night when I made affiliate. I remember it was on the 6th, but it was after my stream, and like they sent me the email like right after. Like I got off my stream and I got an email, and it was like 10 p.m. and I stayed up until like 2 a.m. in the morning just filling out the paperwork that needed to be done and then putting it in. And then like I remember like instantaneously they sent it back and was like, "Hey, you made affiliate, congratulations, like you can do this," and blah 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 blah. It's a pretty easy process, to be honest. And there's a lot of people who are affiliates. Making partner, which is like where you actually have like a contract and you work with Twitch and whatnot, more directly, I should say, that you have to hit more benchmarks, and those are a lot higher and they're harder to obtain. Like for me, the streaming on a certain amount of days and then streaming for a certain amount of hours, I've hit that benchmark ever since I've hit affiliate because I stream so much. But hitting the average viewership, that's the hardest one. It's a slow build to get to that because it's 75 average viewers, so it's a lot harder than the 6 you need for affiliate. But it's interesting. I just remember that night when I had to fill out everything, and then the 7th I got to come back on, and I had a couple emotes that I had ready to go, and it was just really fun because once you reach affiliate, you get emotes that you can put in your channel. You can do sound alerts. There's a lot of integrations you can put onto your channel and do. It's just a very exciting time, you know. And I feel, I mean, this is my full-time job, streaming. I've said this so many fucking times, and I feel like I talk about streaming and the back end side of things and all of that stuff a lot more than I talk about myself. But I just feel like streaming has encapsulated my life. Like this is what I do now, and on stream I don't talk about like the back end stream related things unless someone asks a question or whatnot. Like, so the podcast has kind of become my own personal journal, you know, like I get to talk about the stuff behind the scenes, and people who are interested can listen to it because the podcast is extra, you know. The people who want to come to my streams, but the people who really, really enjoy what I put out, I feel like go to my other content and platforms and listen to the podcast, because I do talk about like life related things, and I talk about the back end of doing this full time on the podcast, and I joke around on here. I have a good time, but like, you know, it's such a niche thing, you know. because it's hard to talk about with people because Twitch and streaming is still such a niche thing. Like people know that Twitch exists. People know that people stream and they because YouTube been around and people game and they do that, but um not a lot of people understand the amount of work that goes into it. And I talked about this on one of my previous episodes. But like it's a lot of work and it's hard to find people to talk to about it besides other content creators, and even some other content creators don't know the severity of it. And like I know that I'm not even at a level where it's even more crazy, but it's just hard to find people to talk to about it because like Joy, my wife, like I can talk to her to an extent, but like she never fully understands because she doesn't have to deal with it. She's in stream, she watches me do certain things, she understands that all the stuff that I do behind the scenes because she sees me tweaking with OBS and the bots and whatnot, and like just messing around with things. And so she understands there's a lot of back end stuff, but she doesn't understand like the logistics of networking and finding new plugins to implement to try new things and new integrations and it's stuff like that. She doesn't understand like those types of things. So talking to her about it is a little hard. Same with my parents. Like when they asked, they didn't even know what Twitch was. I'd explain that to them and to try to make them understand like what Twitch is and how I could make money on it. And it's just interesting. And I feel like this the last 4 months, I've recently started finding people that I could actually talk to about these things and like other streamers and other humans that I can kind of bond with and we rely on each other to like learn how to do other things and help each other grow, and it's interesting. Recently I found an application, like an app called Hover. It's also a site, but it's basically like the TikTok of TikTok for streamers. Like they have a For You page, like a For You page. Not actually a For You page, but like a For You page. And you post clips just straight off of your Twitch. And now you could edit them, like TikTok, or you could take the ones you've edited for TikTok and just post them on there as long as they're stuff from like your stream. And you can tag the category of whatever game you're playing, if it's just chatting or if it's a game or if it's a cooking or whatnot, and write a little description and you can post it. And almost all the people who have Hover are streamers, so it's a good way to network. It's a good way to find people and stuff. But something that I've been talking recently about with other people, and something that it threw me off for the Hover thing, is almost every single user, I would say like 99%. I would go not as high as 99%. Of people who have Hover are streamers, not viewers, And as of late, especially in this day and age, at least this past year, like everyone who's streaming on Twitch and everyone who's on Twitch at one point or another streamed. It's not like, oh, I just go to Twitch and I watch stuff because I like watching it. I'm a streamer as well. I stream as well. Like, it's interesting. So I'm not. It helps bring some people, 100%. It helps bring some people in. I've had a couple people come in from Hover and be like, oh yeah, I found you on Hover. Like that's really cool. But they follow, but do they actually watch? Because they've got their own streams to handle. And like I know for me, like I lurk a lot in people's streams, especially friends, because I've met so many people, but I'm not as active as I'd like to be because I'm working on my own stuff, And I know they do the same. They lurk, but they're not really active or watching intently because they're working on their own stuff. They start to stream halfway through my stream or whatever the case may be. So it's just hard to validate like what's actually bringing in viewers or what's actually bringing in streamers, because you can make a huge community of streamers, but they don't watch each other because they've got their own stuff that they're working on, And something that I've noticed whenever I go on that app is it's always like the same people on the For You page, because there's people who've been there and helped with the app, or they're partners that have gone on the app that have been promoting it. And so other streamers who are the people, they will go and they will follow this person, this partner, or this like couple thousand follower person on Twitch and actually watch their content in hopes that they will network with them. And so the people who are actually getting actual viewers are the people who are the top dogs on the app, you know? And some people will probably disagree with me and say like, "Oh, hey, it's because they have good content." And a lot of them do. A lot of people do have good content, but like it's the same front that I see, and this is the hard part to talk about, is like there's a lot of people who just come in to streams for clout. Like, "Oh, you're the person with a couple thousand followers, or you're the person with blah blah blah," and they might like your content, but also it's the hope that, hey, I could be friends with you if you shout me out once. So there's a lot of people who could follow me, you know. And so it's hard, and like that's the whole thing about networking is, yeah, you want to make friends, but I don't want people who want to be my friend or want to collab with me because of my numbers and because of the work that I've put into it. I don't want people to ride my wave. I know that might sound fucking awful, but like I put a lot of work into it. And if you want to be my friend, I want you to be my friend. I don't want you to just be friends with me because of what I've done. It's that weird pedestal dynamic that culture has solidified in our mind where it's like, they're a celebrity, they've been in stuff. Oh my God, they said my name. Like perfect example. I love Tom Holland. I fucking love Tom Holland. He is amazing. But if I met him, I'd be like, that's fucking sick. Like, I look up to your stuff. Like, I think your content's cool. Can I take a picture? Probably wouldn't post it. Or if I did post it, I'd probably post it in my Discord and be like, guys, I met him. That's freaking cool. But like, I'm not gonna make a 2-paragraph post on my Instagram and be like, today marks the day that I met the idol of my dreams. Because I don't want to put someone who's just a human just doing what they love on a pedestal like that. It glorifies them, and like people should be appreciated for the work they put in, but they shouldn't be blown out of proportion as like a fucking god. You know what I'm saying? I don't want anybody, and I hope no one views me this way. I hope to fucking God no one does, especially at what I've done. I haven't done jack shit, but I hope no one looks at me like I won't even say an inspiration, because you can be inspired by people pretty easily, but I just don't want anyone to look at me like I am better than anybody, because I'm not. We're all trying to do our own shit, we're all trying to just like vibe out, have a good time. I'm doing what I love. I feel like I'm doing a really good job at what I like to do. I like to be entertaining, and if I can make you laugh, that's great. If you can get enjoyment from my stream, that's awesome. I've done my job. But I don't want anyone to think that I'm better than anybody else, because at the end of the day, I might be good at streaming, you might be good at art, or you might be good at singing, or you might be like, there's so many other things that people are talented with, but we're all working on that front, I might be better at something that you aren't as good at, and you might be better at something that I'm not as good at, but like, as long as we're working towards those things and can see that we're all just humans with talents and skills, we're all on the same level. Like it's not a matter of, oh, this person's better and that means that they're better at being a human than I am. I just feel like there's like this disassociation with clout and fame and personality. We're all the same. We're all the same. We're all the same but different. It's confusing. That's life. That's psychology right there. Congrats, everybody. We learned the more you know. Anyway, I just wanted to talk about that because I just thought that was kind of interesting, and it's been a very prominent topic of conversation between me and some friends and stuff, and I just think it's a good thing to talk about. And that's the thing, guys. This podcast, Lord have mercy. You've been Josh with Josh. I I did 11Zs, and I had people on talking about streaming and like having people on and talking about what got them into streaming. And it was a cool concept, you know. It's fun to have people on and hear how they got started and whatnot. You know, it's cool. Um, and I'd like to have more people on and just talk about things. But I really think that the way I want to go with this podcast is just me talking about things that I enjoy. Me talking about topics of conversation that I think are good to talk about, because I think the hardest part for everybody in the world right now is just having open communication about topics that are hard. And I think that topic of conversation that we just talked about is one of those things that streamers don't talk about. I think it's just kind of it just goes right under the rug, you know? Because I have a lot of people. I have a lot of people, and I don't know if they they do this on purpose or if it is for clout or if they're just busy. Because again, a lot of people are just other streamers. Is they'll come in, they'll just say hey, and I say hey, I give them a shout out, and then they lurk, and I never see them again for the entirety of the stream. And I really appreciate them coming in and like saying hi and like saying hello and stuff like that. But I have a bot in my OBS that tells me who's in my chat. It doesn't give me numbers, it just shows me names. And so some people who lurk actually don't lurk. They say they lurk, they're there for another 5 minutes, and then they close out of the tab, you know. So it makes you wonder, like, are you just there to get that shout out and then leave? Or are you there to actually lurk and then you get busy and leave? Like, I don't know. I don't know what their life has got going on, you know, but it's just one of those things where I know a lot of people have the same thing I do in my OBS, and so they see the same things happen, and it does get to you. You know, it makes you wonder of like, oh, are you actually here to support me, or are you just there to get that shout out and then to bounce? You know, and there's things that I've been thinking about implementing on my channel just to kind of to move away from that. I think because like at the end of the day, I want viewers, I want people like if you're just lurking. You know, even if you are just lurking and just sitting in there watching while you're doing work, like that's awesome. Like I'm glad that you can have me in the background. I'm someone who has a podcast in the background or a stream in the background or a show going on in the background that I'm watching, like a comedy show. Sorry, I just smacked my mic. A comedy show in the background while I'm working on stuff, because that background noise is really nice when I have something going on, you know. And if I can be that background noise for you while you're working, great. Like lurkers help a lot, you know. Like it's always nice to have people talking to you in chat, but having someone lurking is just as good, you know. Like not to be cliche, like oh thank you for the lurk, you know. Like but seriously, it does help. It does help, and it makes me feel good that you have me on the background. It's nice. So it makes you wonder if they're there as viewers because that's what you want, or they're there for your numbers, which suck. And that's something that all of us who stream already have a hard time dealing with. Like you see the analytics, it makes you feel like shit. So it's like, yeah, I might have a lot of good numbers, but are you there because I have worked and got those numbers and you're just trying to ride that, or and use me as a trophy of like, hey, I know this person, you know? Or are you there to support me? You know? These are the thoughts that I think about sometimes, guys. Like, and I don't want to be just like a sourpuss, but like, you know, it's just it's things that I contemplate, you know, and I just want to talk about that. Anyway, we just spent 20 minutes talking about this topic. Let's move on to something else. let's move on to something else. Oh my goodness. Okay, wait, actually, to be honest, I do think that Twitch, the future of Twitch, like where where Twitch is heading currently, is I think it's gonna turn into a place where people put on shows. So like cooking streams, music streams, just chatting streams where it's like reality shows and stuff like that. I think it's going to turn into like reality TV. I think gaming is not going to become a thing on Twitch anymore. I think in the next 5 years or next 10 years, it's going to be gone from the platform. I think most people who play games and are or that is the stigma of like variety streamers, as they like people put it. I think that's all going to move to YouTube. Because with YouTube, it's already been on YouTube for so long, like people doing videos and all that. I think that's where people are going to move to. Whereas Twitch is becoming more of a place where people put on like bigger shows, and that's where people want that escape. If people who want to watch certain video games will watch certain video games, and people who want entertainment will watch entertainment. Like they're one and the same in some instances, but then some instances, depending on the streamer, it can just be like, I'm just watching this video game. Like the person's not talking, or they're not being energetic and bringing something else to it. They're not making, like with let's put in consideration my Skyrim playthrough right now. Like we're doing this joke thing because my whole thing is about apples. Like where every single time we find an apple pie, a green apple or a red apple, I steal it. No matter what the odds are, I steal the apples and the apple pie, and then we take it back to our house and we hide it in the safe. And that's like the whole thing that we're doing right now. And then also chat like votes on what to do. And also votes on like what weapons I use and like all those different things. So it's more chat gets to decide some stuff, that gives them entertainment, that gives them a reason to watch than just like, oh, he's playing a video game, and I feel like that might progress on Twitch maybe a little bit, but I think just people playing video games, especially with like other people, it can be entertaining, but I think that people are more apt to watch something that is a show, if that makes sense. Something I've noticed since I've been streaming for so long is whenever I switch out of a game and switch to just chatting, my numbers go up by 5 to 10 people. Literally like 5 minutes after I switch from the game to just chatting, it goes up by 5 to 10 people. That might just be people looking on the just chatting, but also that might be friends of mine seeing that I go to just chatting and being like, oh, what's he doing now? And they come in, but I just think it's so interesting that people, because people play video games, especially since a lot of the people who watch on Twitch are streamers. They all play video games as well, They don't want to watch video games. They play their own. You know what I'm saying? Like, they much rather watch me chillax and just talk and hang out than they would watch me play a video game, unless they have like a personal connection with the video game, And that makes sense. It's just interesting to think about. I do think that's where Twitch is going. I think it'll still be big, but it won't be for gamers. I think gamers will go to YouTube. But speaking of games, there's so many new games coming out soon. Like as soon as 2022 comes out, like 2022 comes out. Yeah, it's coming out, guys. Did you know? No, once we get into 2022, there's like so many new games coming out that I think everyone is just like waiting on, because it's normally a shit ton of games will be released right now, like in October, November, right before December hits, because that way people can get it for Christmas. But because of COVID and because of everything that's happened in the last couple of years, everything's been so delayed. But I'm glad they're delaying it, because you remember all the games that came out during COVID, they were all rushed because people are home and people are just like sitting around. So all the companies were like, let's get them to we got to get these out. And they just weren't done because of the lack of work on them because of COVID. So I'm very excited and very happy that they've extended some of the games out until 2022, because we're getting them in like the spring and the summer, which is very exciting, because normally so many games come out in the fall and winter, and then when spring and summer comes around, we're like, what do we play? But Halo Infinite just came out. Everyone's been playing that. I've been seeing it. I've never played Halo. I didn't have an Xbox growing up, so I never got into that. I know it's free on Game Pass, so I might play that eventually. I don't know. I just never played any of the other ones, so I don't know the story. I don't understand. I know like Commander Chief is like a big deal, but I've never played any of them. But then the games that are coming out in 2022, so many good ones. Like Gotham Knights. I love the Arkham games. They're fucking fantastic, and I'm very excited for Gotham Knights. I think it'd be really cool to have the multiplayer aspect, as well as just being able to change between the characters and have like one with Nightwing and everything. I think it'll be really really cool. I was a huge like Lego person growing up. Like I loved Legos, and the Lego games were like some of my favorites. But I saw they were coming out with like a Star Wars the Skywalker saga, like the Lego one. So it'll be all the games in one, which will be super cool. But at the same time, at least for me, I think that the newer movies from Star Wars were kind of shit. Don't come at me. I honestly think the new ones were really shit. The one with Rey and Kylo Ren and stuff. Like I watched them 100%, but I kind of thought they were shit. Not gonna lie. And now I feel like they're just fucking scrounging for money, and that might be just because Disney bought them. But still, I just was like, I don't know. I might play it just because I like Legos and I like Star Wars, but who knows? We'll see. And then I'll go, of course, God of War Ragnarok, which I feel like every single person's waiting on because God of War was fucking fantastic. The whole series is fantastic, but the one with Norse mythology was just, oh my god. You guys know, at least the people who know me, you guys know how much I like Vikings. Like I love Vikings so fucking much. Norse mythology is so beautiful. Their culture, their beliefs, everything is just so fucking cool. And a lot of our religion and a lot of like Christianity and a lot of our traditions in America and stuff originate like the stories and stuff originate from their stories. You know, it's so funny to me, like how looking back and seeing all these different things and looking at the history and everything, it's really cool. But anyway, God of War Ragnarok looks fucking sick. I'm excited to see what they do with it. I think it's gonna be really fucking sick. And then they have like Lord of the Rings, Gollum, which looks like it's gonna be interesting. I didn't really like the art style that they're going with it. I thought it'd be better if they went more realistic. They're kind of going with like a more cartoonish route. But I'm excited to see what they do with that because I haven't really seen much gameplay. I've only seen like the teaser, but it looks good. I know people who have Switches are excited for the Breath of the Wild 2, Zelda Breath of the Wild 2. I didn't play Breath of the Wild, but I've seen a lot of fucking gameplay from it, and I really want to get a Switch so I can play that. That and what was the other game that I really wanted to play on Switch? It was that and I guess like Mario Kart, I guess, and like Super Smash because I grew up on that stuff, but I really want to get a Switch. Eventually I'll get one. Little Devil Inside is an indie game that I'm really looking forward to. It's the art style is gorgeous. The graphics look fucking amazing, all the stuff that I've seen on it. But they were pushed back. Their initial release was this year, but then they pushed it back and it looks really good. I'm excited. I'm probably going to play that one. Same with Stray. That's another indie game that you play as a cat, and that just sounds really interesting, and I want to play that one. And then, of course, the big one that everyone is fucking waiting on, and all I hear on Twitch is about is Horizon Forbidden West, which I need to finish Horizon Zero Dawn. But Horizon's Forbidden West looks fucking awesome. And, of course, Hogwarts Legacy, which I will bust a nut over as soon as it comes out. Everyone keeps talking about it. I've seen so many good things on it. I just hope they don't let us down. I love Harry Potter, and so I'm excited to play like with spells and stuff. I'm big on the technicality aspect of it, of video games. So I'm really excited to see how they go about doing spells with a controller. You know, how they do spells doing controller, because there's so many spells in Harry Potter, like so many fucking spells. So it'll be interesting to see how they go about doing it. Are they gonna have like a button that you press that pulls up a wheel that you can go between the spells, select it, and then cast it? Or is it gonna be like you have to do certain button patterns to cast a spell, which I think would be super interesting, because then it takes like a memory aspect and like knowledge aspect to cast spells, which I think would be the best way going about it. That's just my personal opinion. I just want to see how they do it. Because like with God of War, the throwing of the axe and being able to pull it back and like it comes back to you is just, that was such a cool mechanic. And like I'm excited to see how they do it, the spells with Hogwarts. But we'll see. I know like I never played Jack and Daxter, but I know they just celebrated like 20 years of being out, I believe it was. Um, and yeah, it's crazy. There's just so many games that people have been talking about as of recently, like some of the older ones. Jack and Daxter, uh, Spyro, and Crash Bandicoot. People have been talking about because they just remasters of those like this a year or two ago, maybe even 3. I'm not sure. I never played Jack and Daxter, but I played Spyro and Crash Bandicoot, and it was interesting to watch. One of my friends was playing it on their stream, and I had never watched even gameplay of it. But it's like that old traditional platformer, and it's so nice to watch. Like I was having such a good time like watching him play it, and I was thinking about this, and I even said it on his stream, but I was looking at the way they fight because you see that with like a lot of like especially Crash Bandicoot, they spin when they punch. Like you come into someone, you spin, or you jumping spin, that you like drop down, you hit them, or with like Spyro, they do the fire or they whip them with a tail or whatnot. It's just so funny if like that's how we fought in real life. I was like, that was a thought that I had. I was like, wouldn't it be so fucking funny if like for a boxing match, they would go into the ring and then they're like, all right, 1, 2, 3, fight. And they just spin in a circle with their fists outstretched. And if you hit them, it's great. It's like, it'd be like, what is it? Bakugan or fucking, what are the ones that you put on the thing and you zip it and it flies out and they spin, you have to hit each other. Is it Bakugan? I don't know if it's that one or if it's, Beyblades. Yes, Beyblades. Would it be so funny if it was just like that? That's how people fought, was just spin and punching. Just a stupid thought that I have. I just thought that would be really cool to see in action. Someone should make a parody video of that. I think that would be super interesting. Also, in the movie realm of things, Spider-Man No Way Home, I'm a big Spider-Man guy, that's coming out. That's coming out like next week. I'm very excited. I have so many theories. I really think they've shown us just enough to make us wonder just about the things that they've shown us and not about all the other possibilities that could come from it. Like, we're all stuck up on the idea that Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire are going to pop out of some fucking portal and be like, yo, Tom Holland, yo, I got you. Our Spider-Mans are going to help you kick these people's asses, you know? And everyone's just like, is it going to happen? I don't know. Like this trailer, it looks like someone edited out like a Spider-Man here because it looks like the lizard gets kicked, blah, blah, blah. I do think they are going to pop up. I do think they are going to show up in the movie. 100%. The way they've went about it, 100%. But they went about it so all you think about is that question, not asking the most important question is there even going to be more cameos than what they've shown? Or hinted at, because think about it. No Way Home breaks into so many different timelines and multiverses that this is even a possibility. They've already shown that it's possible to break into Tobey Maguire's timeline. So why not Andrew Garfield's? Why not? Well, and of course it's Andrew Garfield's because Electro. But the way that Electro looks is oh God, I'm going to go into deep conversation about this. Someone was like, "Oh, in the Electro with Jamie Foxx, his hair was missing in the one with Andrew Garfield, but in this one he has like a nice fade, and like he has a different outfit and blah 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 blah, and he's kind of like yellow instead of blue. It could be that it's just another multiverse, you know? Like we have no idea. But something that I think people should be asking is the fact that there's so many other multiverses that we've learned from the other movies that it's very possible that other villains, including maybe even Sony's Venom, could come through. You know, it's very possible. We have no fucking clue, and I'm excited to see what happens because I love Spider-Man so much. I love Marvel. But like Spider-Man specifically, I've always been a fan of Spider-Man. So I'm just really excited for this movie. And then of course, they released the teaser trailer for Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, the second movie to Into the Spider-Verse, which is dealing with timelines as well. It's just so fucking exciting. And then they released that it's a part 1, which means there's going to be a 2-part movie. Oh God, it made my day. I was so excited. There's so many other things that are coming out, and it's just, ooh, it's exciting. I straight up like I'm going on I think it's December 17th. No Way Home comes out. I'm going. I don't care if there's stream that night. I'm gonna let everyone know and be like, hey guys, like I know that normally it's stream. What day is Saturday? Not Saturday. The 17th. Is it Friday? I normally stream on the 17th. On Fridays. I think I'm just gonna be like, hey guys, like, hey, I know that we normally stream on Fridays, but I really need to see this movie. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go see the movie early, and then once it's over, I'll come back and we'll stream and we can talk about it. That's what I think. That's what I think I'm gonna do. Either that, or I'll get into the Discord and I'll talk about it with other people who have seen the movie. Because I'm gonna want to talk about it. It's gonna be like eating away at me. I'm so fucking excited. Just no spoilers. I hope to God, if I can't for some weird reason go on the 17th and have to go on like the 18th or 19th, I swear to God, if anybody ruins it for me, oh my God, the hell I will rain down. Oh, no, I'm just really excited for that movie. I think it's gonna be good. It snowed recently. It was really weird because we have really cold weather right now, which is great. Like I love the cold. I really do. I got a beanie on right now. I'm very cozy. I got my head warmer. So nice. It's so nice. But it snowed, and then the next day it rained, and then it snowed again the next day, and then it just got cold winds, and it was just really weird. Like the weather was all over the place. But I'm really happy to see the snow. I'm excited for everything. Maybe I was thinking about just like the snow in general, and as a kid, like sledding and snowboarding. Actually, I wanted to talk about like my first time snowboarding. It was my first and my last. I do want to go snowboarding again. It wasn't like my last, but the first time I ever went snowboarding, I went with a friend of mine, and we took like their little class, and like. We did okay. Like we were doing all right. He picked it up a lot faster than I did, solely because he surfs. So like it was pretty similar. And we were like, oh, we should go up a little hill and then come down it. And so we're like, oh, let's take this lift. Like they have one of the lifts. So we got in, we sat on it, not realizing that it was going a lot higher than we thought it was. Like we'd never been there. The trees were around, So we took it. And it went up to the tallest fucking mountain. And the only way to get down, like you can't take the lift back down. At least we didn't think so. You probably could. I probably could have talked to someone and did it. But we were like, fuck, we have to go down. As a kid, I was like 8, I think. We're like, we have to go down. So like, he just went for it and fucking zoomed down. I like would go, and then as soon as I would start to pick up speed, like even the slightest, like over 15 miles an hour, I would like shift so I would fall. And I did that all the way down the mountain until I got to the bottom, and I was exhausted. And I remember the next week after that, my body was just fucking sore, and it was horrifying because we were like, we're gonna die. Because it was a high mountain. There's people flying by us. And I was just worried about like accidentally going in front of somebody and like hitting them, because I don't want to fuck anybody else up. But it was bad. It was a bad time. I do want to try snowboarding again though. Maybe I'll do that this year. We'll see. We'll see how it is. I don't know how expensive renting a snowboard is and doing it for the day, but it would be fun to do with Joy. I think that'd be really fun. We got plenty of like facilities around this area that can do snowboarding and skiing. So we'll have to check that out. But speaking of like snow and stuff, though, I was reminded of a sledding accident I had when I was younger. We used to have this like waxed round red sled. Wax round red sled. That's a mouthful. And it was designed for speed. You don't think about that, like it was designed to push the wind underneath it and just glide across the icy snow. And my dad, he's a pastor. And there's a place called Seminary Ridge in Gettysburg. And behind the chapel, and there's just this huge open area where there's a hill, and then it goes down, and just like it's flat, like it's a very slow decline after the hill, and you just kind of like go, and then there's like a bunch of like a neighborhood area with like houses with a street, and I was like, oh, I wanna do this, and I think I was like probably like 7, 8 or something like that. I brought that sled, and my dad was like, here, I'll go with you. I was like, okay, cool. So he sat down, I sat in between his legs, and I guess because of how icy it was, mixed with the weight of both my father and I on this small sled, mixed with how cracked and God made this sled was for death and destruction, we gained momentum and speed so quickly that in probably 20 seconds, it felt like that. It was probably like 30 seconds. We went from the top of the hill all the way down, all the way across this area of ice and snow where the grass would be, all the way to the development in like 30 seconds. Probably going 40 to 60 miles an hour. Was zooming, okay? And it wasn't slowing down. Even when we kind of like went to the thing where it kind of plateaus and it's just like straight, we kept going so fucking fast. And my dad was like putting his hands into the ice to try to like stop, and trying to put his heels and stuff, and it kept like jamming his ankles and knees, and like he couldn't do it. And at the end of this thing, which I think it was like half a mile, like it was the length of a football field at least. Like it was a decent bit of like distance from the chapel to the thing. Like it was far. And we were flying. At the end, right before the road, they were plowing, so like there was a big mound of like snow, but then it like sleeted, so there's ice over it. So we hit that full force and flew up in the air, and like we both landed on the road, in the middle of the road, and luckily it was like, it was like a 2-lane like road in like a development. Sorry, my dog just shook. You all right? He just woke up and was like, and we just landed right on the road. So there wasn't like anybody like driving, so we didn't have to worry about that. But it was just we picked up speed so fucking quickly and just zoom, boom, right on the ground. It hurt like a bitch, but it was crazy how the speed we got. I felt like like Frozone, man. But we Joy and I we started decorating our tree, which was exciting. We have a artificial tree just because our space is so small, it just works better. Though it would be nice to have like a real tree someday, but that'll be when we have a bigger place. But we have an artificial tree we just put up, and we have these decorations that we put on it that our friend Keegan painted for us. They're little circular discs of like a branch, and it has got like the live bark around the edges of it. And she painted on them like memories of Joy and I and our favorite things. So like we have like our favorite animals, we have our favorite plants, our favorite trees, and then like Christmas related things on them. And those are what we hang on our tree. And every year we get like a new one that relates to that year. For that year, so it's kind of nice because we get a new one every year, and it looks all congruent because I like synergy. It's my OCD coming out. But it's really nice. It was nice decorating it and just kind of like getting ready for Christmas because it's coming up so freaking fast, guys. Coming up so freaking fast. I believe that like what is it, next week it'll be the 14th when I record this. So it'll be the 15th when you guys hear it. Then the week after that will be Christmas. 2 weeks? Yeah, a little over 2 weeks till Christmas. So you guys will get 2 more podcasts before Christmas happens. Oh, wow. Actually, that's not. It's going to go by really fucking quickly. You bet your bottom dollar it's going to go by really quickly. But yeah, guys, I hope that you have a wonderful Wonderful, 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 wonderful week. Thank you for listening to me rant about stream related things and life, and always popping in and listening to these podcasts. I'm enjoying them quite a bit. Hopefully I'll have some more content to put into these. Something a viewer suggested was to have submissions for readings. So you guys would submit a snippet of fan fiction or a story or like something like that, like a paragraph long with a voice you would want me to do it in, because I do a lot of voices on stream, and you guys could do that. So that way at the beginning of my stream, the beginning of my podcast, every single time I come on here, I would read one or two of them in those voices. So that way it's just kind of like a fun segment. I'm also thinking of adding different segments to the stream. Like in the beginning, I kind of do announcements, and then I finish off with stories and like a discussion and whatnot. But yeah, it's a learning curve, guys. Like I think, what is this, like episode 10? Oh wow, holy shit! I think it's been 10 episodes. Holy crap, guys, that's fucking sick. 10 episodes. My god. My god. My god. Look at that. That's crazy. Oh my goodness. Well, hey, I will see you all next week, or if not, then on stream. I appreciate you guys for listening, as always. Remember to eat your apples and stay funky, my dudes. See you next week. All right. Bye.